Welcome back to What Arty Noobs. This is the T92 HMC. It's the tier 10 American SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Overlord, and this one's under the command of Oxagon. 3 marks of excellence on that 24cm howitzer. Yep, it's the biggest gun in the game, literally. Game on. It's capable of 1100 alpha and penetrating 60mm of armor, and the reload is the longest as well. Your standard reload is 46 seconds, 46.38. Oxagon's got 36.9, so he's actually dropped the reload time by almost 10 seconds. Okay, he's found a spot and he's ready to go. They only made 5 of these because they started the production line. They weren't going to build more, but the war ended before they could actually get them out. Well, splashed against the Progetto 65, only got 55 hit points. Yes, they were going to build a lot more, but unfortunately Japan fell and the war ended before they could. They did produce 5 of the T92 HMC, and they also produced 2 T93 GMCs. Now it's the same vehicle, a Pershing, with a 8-inch howitzer mounted on top of it. He's found another target in A phase 1. He's almost loaded. Rounds out. That's a kill. Yeah, he's got his first kill of the game. Yep, they actually anticipated they would need a lot more of this particular Arty, but as the war ended, they didn't build any more. So only 5 were built, and one of them turned out to be a gate guard for the Detroit Arsenal. And I think the others, well, I'm not sure where they've gone, but some of them may have been melted down for the metal, which is a pity if that's the case. Okay, Leopard prototype A, sitting on top of the cliff, rounds out. Well, the shell fell well short of the target, but he still managed to get 372 hit points of damage. And there's a whole bunch of enemy tanks sitting near that chine, and they've just taken out our 257 rather brutally as well. I think there was a lot of tanks firing at that same guy. We're almost loaded again. It looks like he wants that Leopard prototype, but he's going to go after him again. There are not many enemy tanks visible on the east side of the map. Rounds out. Another splash, but it was much closer this time, and he got 484 hit points of damage and a nice bit of stun on that Leopard. I was looking to see if that guy's going to go down that dip. The Leopard just took a hit. And he's gone, which means that Oxagon's got the rest of it as stun assist. So he's got nice healthy scores, even though the game's been going for a very short time. We're 2 down on the enemy at the moment, and that gorilla is looking rather unsafe. Rounds out on the object. Oh, nice hit. He came whizzing around that corner, and all of a sudden the shell met him going the other way. Unfortunately, I think the gorilla's toast now, because he's got a Leopard prototype behind him, an object in front of him, and the Viz 55 finished him off. So yes, this game does not seem to be going rather well, because we were 3 down at one point. Now we're only 2 down on the enemy. And I noticed that the enemy were bunching up on the east side of the map. It looks like they were going to make an attempt to come round, but instead Oxagon's looking at an M103, lining him up for a shot. Rounds out. Splashes him. 364. Nice bit of stun assist. The guy used his repair kit, so he's back on the move, but he is badly damaged. I think our AMX 1390 wants a piece of him. Oh, and it's the T30 who takes the chunk out of him instead. And that's more stun assist for Oxagon. He got 793 out of that. He's almost loaded. We've got an Object 268 nearby. He's a one-shot as well. He's gone. MX 13105. Oh, penetrator. He penetrated him, a low roll for 923, and took virtually all of that guy's hit points with one fell swoop. I don't think that AMX 13105 has got long to live. In the meantime, we can see some of the enemy tanks coming up from the beach. And we're now down by 3. There's only 4 left on our team. This is looking pretty dangerous for us. We're loaded. Okay, which target is he going to go for? He's going to go for the AE Phase 1, who gets killed straight away. So he's trying to change his aim on the Object 268 version 4. Oh! Wipes him out with 1 round. Overwhelmed him. And he has to get into cover because there's an enemy Viz 55 very, very close to him. Now I noticed he went to the overhead method of aiming, and that's actually very useful because you can see exactly what the enemy tank was doing at all times. So if he was changing direction, then he knew what he needs to do. But now they're down to just 2 left on his team. It's the AMX 1390 who's in the bowl at the moment, and the other one, of course, is Oxagon himself, and he's lining himself up to get a shot at that Viz 55. There he is. Fires a round into the rear of the Viz 55, who's not happy, and fires one back, and yes, takes most of Oxagon's hit points with 1 shot. So Oxagon is staying in this almost third-person view to actually see what the Viz 55 was doing, and he's close enough now so he can proximity spot the guy, and he's using the house as a bit of extra armor. But he won't be able to do that forever. Chase me, chase me! And he tries to get around the house. He's aiming. Oh! He was trying to get a shot on the T95 with the other enemy tank that's nearby. It's now 1 versus 4. And the enemy started capping. Now, we don't know which tank is capping, but they do have 3 tanks and 1 Arty. We didn't see the enemy Arty come south, so I suspect it's one of the tanks that's capping at the moment. Oh, the M103 takes a hit, and it is the M103 that was in the cap. There's still capping, and there's 2 in the cap now. I think they're making a mistake here. One of them should be trying to come out and hunt this AMX 1390 to try and fend him off. And instead, they're just sitting there and taking these shells. And he's getting resets. They are firing back at him, but they just can't get him because he's very nicely in the bowl, undercover. So they keep losing sight of him. He's decided he has to get closer because the enemy are getting very close to winning this. And if they position themselves correctly, then they can avoid his shells. So he has to get close. He's going to pop up and shoot them. Fires 1 into the Viz 55, gets a reset, kills the Viz 55 that killed Oxagon. And now it's just the T95 that's in the cap. But he's got to reload. It appears the enemy GWE100 is not helping at all. I don't think he can actually, because I don't think he knows where the AMX 1390 is going to appear from. T95, oh, he's facing the wrong way! He was actually facing the house. And there's the kill shot. And now it's 1 versus 1. They've got a real chance of winning this now. In fact, the AMX 1390 said easy. And they're all laughing because the enemy had this in the bag. It was 4 versus 1. In fact, it was 5 versus 2. And then it went 4 versus... Was it 4 versus 2? And now it's 1 versus 1. Somebody's saying Kolobanov. No, there's no Kolobanov here, unfortunately. because the last two survivors on their team were Oxagon and this AMX 1390, who did an excellent job. But Oxagon, of course, did a massive job as well by putting huge hits into enemy tanks and, of course, getting that kill on the object, the Object 268 version 4. That was a big kill because that guy could have been very, very dangerous to the AMX 1390. Now he's hunting the GWE. He doesn't know where he is, but I think he's guessing that he's on this side of the map, on the east side. That's perfectly possible, but his sixth sense hasn't gone off yet, so he hasn't been spotted. And they're saying you've got all the time, well, all the time in World of Tanks, he says, but all the time in the world to find the enemy Arty. Plenty of time. No need to cap. You can kill the enemy. Well, I guess he's not at this end of the map. He's not been spotted. He's well within the 50 meters, so no chance he's up here. You can see where some of the shells actually hit the front of the vehicle. I think there's a shell hole there. It's only a AMX 13 hull, so it's very, very light and very thin on armour. In fact, virtually no armour whatsoever, but it does have a very nice gun, the 90mm. And the French did buy this one. They didn't buy the AMX 13-105 because it was just too powerful, whereas this one was just right for them. He's found him! And that, I think, means that they're going to win this game. Yes! Oh, that's a victory to go home about. What I meant to say, that's a victory to write home about, not go home about. But it was an ace tanker game for Oxagon in the T92 HMC. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, but nothing else, I'm afraid, in the game other than the satisfaction of knowing that he played his part in a very good turnaround and in a substantial victory. Let's have a look at team score. The highest damage in the game went to the AMX 1390. Unsurprisingly, he got 5,275 hit points. Second highest damage went to the Object 268 version 4, the one that Oxagon shotgunned. He got 3,841. That's why I said he could have been a danger to the AMX 1390. But no, Oxagon took care of him. And the third highest damage in the game actually went to the Oxagon with 3,351 hit points. When it came to kills, it was the AMX 1390 with 5 kills. 4 kills went to the Viz 55, and of course that included Oxagon because of course he was the one that killed him. And 2 kills went to Oxagon, the Gorilla, the Cobra, and the Object 261 on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, it was the 1390, yes, 1,471. The second highest was the Cobra with 942, and the third highest was Oxagon with 912. Let's have a look at detail. He only fired 9 shots in that game, got 5 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetration, that was the AMX 13-105. The shell went straight through his armour because, of course, really doesn't have any armour as such. And so, yes, that was a nice pen, that one. 9 splashes on the enemy as well. 3,351 hit points, of which 2,505 were at more than 300 meters. The close shots, nearly 800 hit points of them, were done at very close range, included the Object 268 version 4 and, of course, that Viz 55, who probably didn't appreciate getting shotgunned at close range. He received 2 hits, both from the Viz 55, and both of them penetrated, I'm afraid. 13cm shells, there's not a lot he can do about that. 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, and 723 hit points of damage assistance, and 1,637 hit points of stun assist off 8 stuns. He earned 43,550 credits from the game, but after repair, ammunition, respawn, consumables, he actually made a loss of 24,479. Couldn't be helped because he had a rather large consumables cost of 40,000. That's why I tend to buy all of my consumables when they're half price, and that way I have stacks and stacks of them ready, and so I make profits on most of the games the rest of the time. Of course, it does handicap me when it comes to actually buying or moving up the ladder, because I have to save up my credits, but it does work. 912 XP, 2,736 from personal missions payout, and 4,104 experience points altogether. I guess most of you probably thought they'd lost this one, and when Oxagon got killed, yeah, that it was all going to turn out the wrong way. But yeah, they made a hell of a bad decision to start capping, even with 2 tanks in the cap, because the 1390 could snipe at them from a distance and pick away their hit points one by one until eventually they were down to just the Arty left. And then, of course, against a fast little light tank like that, I'm afraid the GWE, which is not one of the fastest Artys in the game, was not exactly going to survive very long unless he could get a shotgun in, and unfortunately he didn't. So well done to Oxagon. You played a part in a very big turnaround. Huge, that at one point you were 3 tanks behind, and with only 1,800 hit points, whilst the enemy had nearly 5,000 at one point, and then you turned it all the way around and won the game. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.